Talking Music with Big Andy. In this episode, STEM, the Talking Music with me, Big Andy. Hi there. Before we get into the main podcast, I just wanted to say, if you could subscribe and like the videos and listen to all the podcasts, the bands that you may not have heard of or bands that you don't know if you like, try them out because it might be worth your while. Also, if you're interested in films, science fiction and horror films, maybe take a listen to my other podcast called the Sci-Fi Film Podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That's the Sci-Fi Film Podcast, where we review short horror and science fiction films that are all available for you to watch on YouTube. Thank you very much. Now on with the show. Good evening. Welcome to the podcast. This week I have with me all the way from America, the band STEM. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Now, I got to start off by saying everything I looked up when I looked at the stuff you just described you as an American metal band. Now, would you say that you're a metal band? Because I think you're kind of, I don't know, I would think you were slightly heavier than normal metal. What would you say?
I don't know. I've never really liked to discriminate. There's so many different genres. We did a video about that, picking on all the genres, like how heavy metal likes to segregate themselves and this core, that core, metalcore, hardcore, deathcore, crabcore, applecore, and stuff like, we're a heavy metal band. If the closest genre, I guess you could say we possibly are, is new metal, but,
right.
Overall metal's metal, you know what I mean? So
yeah. No,
that's how I've always looked at it.
Here's this thing that people seem to like, breaking everything down into these smaller and smaller pieces, and you end up with it being like you end up with a genre being just one band, which is ridiculous.
Right. I don't listen to deathcore. I only listen to metalcore. Well, what's the difference? Well, the drummer plays like this instead of like that, and who cares? So,
I'm using mine.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, that's
What size?
22. I call it diamond.
diamond.
Right, so-
Evans Cody.
You
Or Power Stroke.
You were formed in 1998, yeah, is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. You had a few lineup changes since then, obviously.
We have.
And I saw that you merged at that time, near that time, you merged with another band called 5 Years Gone. You kind of
That's correct.
Joined together.
Right.
Now, I was absolutely amazed at the list of bands that you toured with in like the early 2000s. So like, Seven Dust, Hatebreed, Stained, Godsmack, Soulfly, Trivium, Black Label Society. I mean, these are like, that's a huge. These are huge bands and that sort of thing. What was it like touring with them if you'd only been going for a couple of years?
Well, some bands we toured with, some bands were just one-off shows. We were sponsored by Jägermeister. So anytime Jägermeister had like a spring tour or their fall tour or Rockstar Mayhem, they would usually pick us to, either do one show, 3 shows, 5 shows, like stuff like that. We did tour with Chimera a lot. I think we spent about a week on the road with like Hatebreed, and that was like with Typo Negative and 3 Inches of Blood. And yeah, with Chimera, it was multiple. It was Trivium was on that. It was like when Trivium was first starting out.
Yeah.
Then there was another one with Argenemy and Chimera and Hate Eternal. Yeah. So I mean, we weren't like on the road for like weeks or months at a time with these bands. A lot of them, Godsmack, we got the call for it in Buffalo. Stain, the same thing. Jägermeister said, we want you in Providence, Rhode Island for the Stain 3 Days Grace show. And, you know, so we would be on tour ourselves, like independently touring sometimes. And we just worked it out where we could be there, you know, for these shows.
Yeah.
But no, it was, no matter what, we got to interact with a lot of these bands. A lot of them we looked up to, and most of the time, 95% of the time, it was an amazing experience. So being around them.
I was going to say, you know, if as a band that only been around for a couple of years, doing those sort of tours and those sort of venues must have been quite an experience. It's sort of, a learning curve. And then you got connected with UFC. And your stuff was on a lot of their videos and programs and that sort of thing. How did that come about?
How did that come about? That was an absolute accident. There was another band in our hometown of Niagara Falls, the rock band named Clear, Klear. They were signed to, I don't know if you know who the Goo Goo Dolls are, they're a pop rock band out of Buffalo, New York. The bass player had them signed to their label. Anyway, I was real good friends with them, and the guitar player, we were just hanging out before one of their shows, and he says, "Hey, do you got a promo package?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Why don't you go give it to me?" And he was like, "I got this opportunity that might help you guys." He goes, "It didn't work for us. We submitted our music and we weren't heavy enough, but they're looking for a heavy band." So I brought him the package, and I lived like a half block down the road from the venue, and brought him the package. He looked at me, he goes, "No promises, but I'm going to send it in." And 2 weeks later, the UFC producers were calling us and asking for permission to use their songs. I mean, this is UFC 35, I think, you know, when they first started working with us. So, you know, it was very infancy stages when Dana and Lorenzo took over the UFC. So yeah, I mean, it was just another local musician looking out for, you know, another band.
Yeah, and I mean that's the way these breaks come sometimes, though, isn't it? It's you know, knowing people and getting in at the right time.
Right. Correct.
So you took a break in 2012,
and
then see you came back in 2019, just in time for the whole world to lock down.
It's our fault why the world locked down, because that's just our luck. We're back together. Quarantine.
So during the whole lockdown and all that sort of thing, have you been writing new material? Have you been recording stuff, or what have you been doing?
We let's see. We did one song, and it came out in 2018. And then I went through a pretty bad divorce, and I'm just kind of like coming out of it right now. Right. So right now, I mean, this all started because of quarantine. You know, after the band stopped playing shows, I went into production music, similar to like what our music was with the UFC, and I write for music libraries for TV shows, that my music gets placed like all over the world. Right. Danny's my drummer. He's been doing it with me also. When quarantine hit, no one had anything to do, and just fans started like threatening to kick in my door if I didn't go on Facebook Live and play or perform or talk or something. And I started doing it, and it was fun. You know, it was fun for me. It seemed fun for anybody who was watching. People were losing their minds. And I guess like once a week, me going on and shooting the shit and drinking with them and communicating with them kind of took the edge off. And the person's house that we're in right now, that we're rehearsing in, called up one day and offered us to play up his camp for a private party. And that was when I said, well, let's see if the rest of the guys want to do this. And it was an acoustic thing. It was just real light, just fun. We did one night of rehearsal, one night and one day of rehearsal, and did Facebook Live. And then we just started getting offers for shows in our hometown. And, you know, in the middle of quarantine, every time we played, it sold out. And we were like, well, we haven't done anything really since 2012. Like, why is this happening? You know, and the shows just keep getting bigger. And now the quarantine's lifted, we're playing next week, and ticket sales are like upward of like 1,000 people. So the next plan is to start writing some, you know, putting some material out. So
Right. I was going to ask if you had new material that you were working on that you were going to put out.
we put out Don't Act Surprised in late 2018 with the intention of writing new music. And then I got uppercutted with a divorce and kind of lost my marbles. And then,
So there will be new music.
yeah, there's a lot of material coming out.
But is the new music is that going to be on a label, or are you self producing it, self promoting it? Because I noticed you've been on a couple of different labels with your previous albums.
Yeah, we're strictly independent these days. So I think you're talking about Ice Cream Records, which was a small independent label that put out songs to Incurable Heart. That was a 1 album deal. And then Catch 22 Records is actually our label.
Yeah.
That's our
your
label. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
cool.
yeah.
I don't think.
Sorry.
I've been watching some of your videos and listening to your stuff on YouTube that you've got on there, and I got to say I really like what you do, and I like the videos are really good.
Thank you.
I've got a few that I like. I like Down, it's good, and Fleur de Lis and Left Behind. I think was really good. I really like that one.
Thank you.
I've got.
My boys, Steve,
STEM?
whatever. Heard the record. It's great. You'd make Limp Bizkit proud. Anyway, I've got some ideas. You need an image. I mean, look at you guys. You're a mess. We gotta get this out to the kids. And when it comes to the kids, you need a core. You got no core.
What I was thinking.
Hardcore, metalcore, deathcore, crabcore, applecore, corecore.
We could just get.
Fightcore, moshcore, mancore, earthcore, peacecore, unicore.
Oh, Marine Corps.
Shut up! No! Oh, come on, guys. Don't you want to be big stars? We can make this work. All you gotta do is sign right here.
I've got to say to you, as I'm 58 years old now, and as a person who got into Black Sabbath when Sabbath Bloody Sabbath came out. Your cover version of Supernaut is excellent.
Thank you.
I mean,
Did you hear that, Alex?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I've been a lifelong Sabbath fan, and it's a really, really good version.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you I mean, it's quite strange actually, because most bands I've looked at, especially during the lockdown and everything, have kind of put covers up because it's been something they can do fairly easy to just sort of like to put something out there. But you've only got that one cover. I just wondered if you thought about doing any more.
We did on the Blood Scent album, we did a cover of Wish by Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
And then after Chris Cornell died, we did a tribute to Chris Cornell. We did an acoustic version of Like Suicide, which was a B-side back in the day when Super Unknown came out. There was a B-side of just Chris Cornell on a 12-string guitar just singing it, and I always thought that was more amazing than the actual studio cut, on Super Unknown. So when he died, we started working on that. So that's 3 covers we've done. He's talking about Supernaut, how much he loves it. We've always wanted to do Stone the Crow by Down, but I keep getting vetoed. Would love to play Stone the Crow.
There's still time. You've got to wait a bit.
Right. Yeah.
So I've got a list down here of so many. After the Tide, I like Suicide. That was brilliant. Face the Pain and House of Cards are the ones I've got down here that really kind of stood out for me. Where do you get the inspiration for your songs? What is it that drives the songwriting?
Most of the time the songs are about standing up for yourself. I'm sure at some level, everyone's been put through some level of abuse, whether it's through childhood or relationship or friendship or whatever. And I'm safe to say we've all endured it. And, basically the message is it's either fuck you, I'm still standing, if I'm allowed to swear, or I'm going to kill you for what you did to me. So,
no, that seems fun. It seems fair.
Instead of actually physically doing it, you just put it into your music. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. That's always kind of like been the basis, between me is, you hurt me, you hurt us, you stabbed us in the back, you this and that, but guess what? Still here, still standing,
Time to end this suffering. I need a minute to myself, so I drift away. You will never get to me. What can't be done, I'll do myself, so I slip away. Why do I to fall? Why do I lose control? Why do I to fall? No one unwell to break. Why do I to fall? Why do I lose control inside? Why do I to fall? No one unwell to break. Face the pain, no escape to the steps to this. Face the pain, no escape to the steps to this. Face the pain, rip me into pieces. Face the pain, no escape to the steps to this. Face the pain, no escape to the steps to this. Face the pain, rip me into pieces. Face the fear in front of me. I see the image of myself, so I drift away. My blood runs deep and drains from me. I'm soul to heart repairs itself, so I slip away. Why do I to fall? Why do I lose control? Why do I to fall? No one unwell to break. Why do I to fall? Why do I lose control inside? Why do I to fall? No one
think the new material will be coming out?
Well, we got this show on Saturday, and then pretty much after that, figure out, when it can start pouring out.
Cool.
So, I'm itching to start writing in many ways, shape or
Yes.
form. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be, you're doing local gigs at the moment. Are you going to be touring again?
that's a real toss up. We're all older guys, now, and families and jobs. Some of us have jobs and careers and stuff. So right now, to be able to play close to home and encourage like our fan base, you know what I mean, to like more or less come to us has been working for us. The van and trailer days are over for us. I don't even think some of us can physically withstand a van and trailer, these
I
Yeah.
doubt I'd be able to sit back there and endure that
Right.
anymore.
So I mean, it's a real toss up, to see how far it can go. We might put out new music and it might go off like a fart in church, and we might put out new music and it might take off for us, and you start getting offers to expand. And yeah, I think we'd be willing to at least, hear it out. But, right now, I think the main intent is to just get some new material out and like see where it goes. And we've all been independent since the band formed. We stopped looking for a record label in 2004.
Yeah.
We pretty much told every label that we were catering to F themselves, and we're going to go do this ourselves. And we still survived. But now in this day and age, I'm an independent musician, you know what I mean? Like as far as like performing, and I still go on Twitch twice a week and perform on Twitch. That's an income stream as a songwriter. Danny and I write music for TV and film, and we survive off that. There's, so it would take a lot for us to be able to go out on tour. And it's not like we need $1 million, but we need to be guaranteed, the days of hoping, the days of playing in front of 25 people are over. I can go play out in front of 25 people on Twitch in my pajamas in my studio. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna have to see where that goes. You know what I mean? As far as touring. So it's a lot. And in this economy right now, at $5 a gallon for gas, like, we were struggling when gas was $2.50 a gallon.
At the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better.
Right. So, but it's not out of the question. Anything's possible. When I walked off stage in 2012, I never thought we were going to ever play again, and now here we are. So I never say no, but I don't make promises that we're definitely going out on the road. So we'll just have to see where it takes us.
I'm glad to hear that you've still got a fan base out there that are coming along to see you, and that hopefully it's picking up, and you can build on that, and even if it's only locally, you can build on that and do more gigs and more shows, and see where it leads you.
Yeah. Internet's a blessing and a curse, we find new fans every day on the internet.
I think the thing about it as well is that there's two things with the way things are at the moment. It's one, you've got this whole kind of sort of rock and roll punk rock thing about sort of like everybody could just go and do it for themselves. Right. And you can just put the music out there and see what happens to it. There's you don't have to wait for an A&R man to come and see you, and you don't have to wait for a promoter. You don't have to wait for the record company to put money into advertising for it and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You do it yourself.
You don't have to kiss anyone's ass.
Yes, well, that's what I was going to say. You also got the thing where you've got complete control over what you do. You can record anything you want, and you can play it any way you want. There's none of this sort of like, it's a bit too heavy, you don't want that,
Right.
But you also got the thing of, you can, through things like the internet, you can reach people in other countries, which you may never be able to get to tour in. You know, I mean,
Exactly.
one guy I was interviewing, a guy from New York, I was interviewing a little while ago, was saying that he's suddenly picked up this fan base in India that he never even thought about. He's
Right.
got, like, you know, thousands of people watching his videos in India.
It's incredible, right? You
Yeah,
know, and that would have never happened 15 years ago.
that's
You would have
right.
had to go to India.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To find these people.
Who,
So
who could afford to go the other side of the world to tour?
right. Exactly.
Not
So
cheap.
you know, you got to stay dedicated and obviously putting out content is important, you know what I mean, to be able to consistently find a fan base. And I think that's something that Danny and I learned ever since we stopped playing, touring in 2012 was, social media, just every day, a picture, a video, hey, this and that, like, it didn't matter. We always engaged with the fans. We engaged with the fans when we were an actively touring band, and we engaged with the fans when we were doing nothing. And you know what I mean? And I think that resonated with a lot of people,
It's good to keep that connection.
Right. So but you find new fans, like I said, every day. Someone always contacts and said, hey, I never heard of your band, but oh my God, like love what you guys are doing.
I got to admit, I mean, I hadn't heard of you guys until recently, but there are other bands I've interviewed, that sort of thing, from New York and different places around that way. And when they were putting up things about their shows, I was looking at the venues and I was seeing your name come up on different things that I'd looked up, either from the past or from, what's going on now. And I was thinking, okay, who are these guys? They've obviously they're obviously fitting in here somewhere. So I need to check out what they're like. And I really like what you do. That's why I contacted you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I wish you all the best with the new material. And when you decide to put it out, I'll definitely look out for it and listen to it. I also wish you all the best with the gig on Saturday and any future gigs that you have coming up. I hope everything goes really well for you. You kind of deserve it. You've stuck with it, and you're working hard for it. So I hope it goes well.
Thank you. We're
Thank
gonna
you very much.
we're gonna be doing a live stream of the show off my Twitch channel. So I'll have Danny send you the link.
Thank you.
And if you're awake, because I know you're on the other side of the world right now, but you can watch it. But it'll be there anyways after the show.
What do they call it? Across the pond?
Across the pond.
Across
No.
the pond.
Yeah, it's across the pond.
Oh,
Go
So-
Chelsea, by the way. I'm sure you're a football fan.
no, I'm not really
What?
big into football. No,
Oh,
I'm more
soccer. We're talking soccer.
soccer.
I'm more into rugby and motorsport.
Okay, I mean, that's a man sport right there.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for being on the show. It's been really great talking to you and listening to your music. And as I say, I hope everything goes well. I'll put up links to all the social media stuff for you and to your YouTube channel and all that sort of thing. I always do that. Anybody who's been watching, check out STEM and have a look at the links I put up, and just sort of check them out. They're really worth looking at. Really good band. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Have a good night.
Bye.
Later.
Bye now.
Talking music with Big Andy.